Formula One and many other sports are highly British dominant, which does not have to be a problem. The actual problem is them being a global broadcaster, spreading their bias towards their own country's drivers and openly hating on others. This fuels another problem: social media. It already has a lot of negativity, hate, and fake news. We don't need this to be fueled by a global broadcaster that needs to advocate for the sport, not discredit it. It's totally understandable that you support your national driver or team. In the Netherlands, they do it with Max Verstappen. In Spain, they only care about Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso. And in Italy, it's Forza Ferrari. But still, I do think that these countries keep a more open approach to other drivers and their performances. They support their national hero, but to a certain level. With Sky Sports being the main broadcaster for Formula One, their bias toward their countrymen is more apparent. This makes it more annoying for a lot of people. I have favourites myself. I like certain drivers or teams more. There are ones that I support, but why should I throw hate on other drivers or teams? There's no point in doing that. It's fueling all of these hate sentiments, and we already have enough of that in the world these days. I cheer for my favourites, but when another driver does something sublime, I cheer too. I love Formula One as a sport, and I want to see everybody excel. That is in favour of the sport. 80% of the journalists are English, and so are the pundits. All of this adds to the British bias, and it's not even for the better. A sport as big as F1 right now doesn't need this. It's even damaging. The bias translates to hate towards the English drivers because they get favoritism. And as I said before, and stated in a previous video, we already have that on social media. So, why is this a problem? Why do we have this? And why is it suddenly a problem? It's definitely not all of a sudden. It's already been a problem for years. When Schumacher was dominant, they always tried to discredit him and his performances. Fernando Alonso always felt like the bad guy and spoke out about it. And then it was Sebastian Vettel who endured a lot of hate during his dominant days. He was a 4-time world champion, but it was more due to the car than his actual driving. And now it's Max Verstappen's turn. With the 2021 championship battle, Red Bull Racing cost cap breach, and his dominance, he gets a lot of hate from the so-called pundits. I can bring up many elements, but I want to focus on certain events just to make it clear. We do need to go back to 2021 for that. We all know about the battle of the young driver who can win his first championship and the reigning world champion who can win his 8th, a battle for the history books. As a commentator or pundit, this could be your opportunity to fuel the popularity of the sport, add an extra layer to it and make it even more enjoyable. But what really happened? Sky Sports did this. An actual advertisement about a crash of the rival of Lewis Hamilton, their favourite. It was a crash that could be fatal. Recently, we learned that Verstappen had damage. He had problems with his vision and couldn't see clearly. It was even so bad that he considered stopping during the Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas in 2021. Before we go on with the video and my further explanation of the British bias, I want to ask for your help. I've recently hit 500 subscribers and I want to thank every one of you for that. Now, I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of the year, so I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe and help me out. Okay, let's keep going. Then we have the cost cap breach. The whole Red Bull team gets hate for it. It's stupid, of course, but it wasn't a breach on actual development, so there was no advantage from it. Still, in 2022, Red Bull got called out multiple times for it. They started the season strong and became better and better. Verstappen broke the record for most wins in a season. It showcased his and Red Bull's racing quality, but everything was being downplayed. Sky Sports pit lane reporter Ted Kravitz multiple times talked about the 2021 final and used the word robbed many times to defend Hamilton. The whole Red Bull team boycotted Sky Sports. Max Verstappen opened up and said the whole year they were digging at him and being disrespectful. At some point, it's enough. I don't accept it. He added my own thoughts to it. Social media is a toxic place, and if you're like that on TV, you make it worse instead of trying to make it better. I've described Austria 2024 already in my Why is Social Media Killing Formula One video, but I just want to briefly touch on it again. When the accident happened, most people agreed it was a racing incident. It was completely blown out of proportion. The reaction of Lando Norris after the Grand Prix gained him favoritism, which he later took back. But the real problem is once again the coverage on TV. They openly blamed Verstappen. It was the return of the old Verstappen. He doesn't learn and he always crashes into someone. He isn't punished enough. They did multiple analyses on it, all in favour of Norris, a British driver. If you're on Twitter and not from the UK, you know that you can't see the Sky Sports videos on the platform. Everything's geo-blocked. Guess what? Not this time. Everything was viewable to create a certain sentiment. The Grand Prix weekend of Hungary wasn't Max Verstappen's best day in his racing career. They're being outdeveloped and the new upgrades didn't work as expected. Verstappen joined a 24-hour sim race because a teammate couldn't make it, and he went to bed at 3 a.m. In the race, he was openly frustrated, multiple times shouting on the radio, discussing with his engineer, and blaming the team for bad strategy. Of course, this isn't nice, but at least he shows he wants to win and nothing else. The commentators also reacted on this. Multiple times they stated Verstappen should have gone to bed instead of sim racing. It was the sim racing that caused this behaviour. Norris was more of a professional because he went to bed at 11 p.m. The commentary team felt uncomfortable and was disappointed in Verstappen. Why would you even say this? I mean, I understand that it might not be the best decision or behaviour of Verstappen, but it was never a problem when he did this before. In Imola, he won 2 races, the real one and the 24-hour sim race. Nobody said anything about that. In Spa-Francorchamps, the Red Bull racing car of Verstappen didn't have the updates, something that was already known before the weekend started. It was an update for low downforce tracks. Spa is a high downforce track. Sky Sports suggested that Red Bull abandon the updates. This resulted in a community note on Twitter stating that the new package was for low downforce and the old one for high downforce. This resulted in Sky Sports deleting the tweet. Such a global broadcaster spreading misinformation, driving their own agenda, and then being corrected by fans is such a shame. It shows everything that's wrong and why the bias is just stupid if you ask me. There are many more examples, and I'm pretty sure that everyone who watches this video can name a few of them. While writing this video, I came to the conclusion that it's not the British bias that's the problem. The problem is the behaviour of a global broadcaster like Sky Sports. Formula One needs to solve this. They can go for a more neutral broadcasting format, make it independent or in-house. The Formula One YouTube channel already has its own media team that covers a lot. Why not extend that part? You get a more neutral standpoint. Everything and everyone gets cheered on, and it might also calm people on social media down. I do think that it's what's better for the future of Formula One. With such popularity, you can't afford behaviour like this. Anyway, once again, thank you for 500 subscribers, and I highly suggest watching my video about social media and why it's killing Formula One. With all the toxicity, negativity, and fake news, it brings the sport down. If you've already watched that one, there's always another video on screen that you might like. I like to keep you entertained. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.